Today I will be placing a purchase order through our system. I am now at the client start page. I go to select task, I go to other functions, and we scroll down to the button purchasing. And on this screen there's a bunch of reports and a bunch of functions that I'll talk about later. I'm just going to place a basic purchase order. To do that, what we do is, I'm going to get out of this for 1 second and show you that we work on an email. The system spits out an Excel doc every morning, and and we go through, and it puts a notation here saying below reorder point. So we have computations in our system to show that when an order is below, the quantity on hand is below the quantity sold last week. Actually, it's the formulation is exactly, and I'll go to here, it is the weeks to carry on hand and the lead time. So if the lead time is 0.2 and we sold 10 last week, when it gets to 2, it'll show below reorder point on this other report that I'm going to show you. So I'll explain that again. So here, this particular vendor shows quantity sold last week and quantity sold last month. So the two numbers are quantity sold last month is what we sold last month divided by 4 weeks, and it's an average for the month. And quantity sold last week is actually what we sold last week. And so we look for up and down ticks on purchasing using this scenario. So you can see here we sold 6 a month on this item, but last week we sold 4, so we sold a little bit less than we usually sell. So when we make a purchasing decision, we may actually decrease the purchase amount by that much, a couple cases, just to make it so that we take into consideration the up and down changes in inventory or usage against our inventory. Okay, so going back to this one here, we're going to look for a PO to place. So I'm going to scroll down. Martine, do you have one off the top of your head?
JBS.
So we're going to go down. I'm going to scroll down to JBS as a test. A, B, C. So JBS is a PO we're going to place right now. And you'll see that on this, we're out of this 50-pound white sugar, so we need to place an order. This is for a will call over in Hayward, not too far from us, Hayward, California, which is about 15 minutes away. And so we could do small purchase orders for this particular vendor. So now I'm going to go in and place an order for JBS. So this form really just lets us know overall what's going on with each vendor, but also gives us a tickler to place an order for any particular vendor. So now we'll go in, and I'm going to go into find vendor. We're going to type in JBS, and here you could, if you double click the name, you could see all the particulars about the vendor that we buy from, their phone number and account number if we have it. We also store the email that we put on the PO, which I'll show you in a second. We store that in this form as well. This is just in vendor master. This is in vendor master, which we then turn into vendor master local, as you guys have been syncing lately. Okay, so now we'll go in, and when you hit the gray button on the left, what our system does now, it goes through, and I will show this on the form design later. It goes through different macros to come up with a suggested order. So we call that, well, the first question here is, do you want to delete the purchasing cart and start over? And I'll take yes. It cleans out the purchasing cart. The next one, we call that suggested order a mock order. So do you want to put a mock order together for this vendor? I'm going to say yes. We take yes most times because then the computer does most of the work for us. And right now the computer is going through their processes and trying to figure out a proper suggested order for us. So now the order comes up, and you'll see for JBS, we have, I'm going to put my cursor over here, we have 41 records in that for that vendor, and in there you'll see that there's a lot of zeros. The blue field here is our suggested order, and this is what our purchasing team updates and double checks. So to see the order, the suggested order by the computer, we simply just click this order, what do you call it, label. This order label is clicked, and it just clicks and it shows the suggested items for an order. So we have two items that are showing. Back over here, this reorder point shows 11 quantities sold last week and 10 quantities sold last month divided. So it's a pretty stable usage. It doesn't go up or down too much. We go back here, these same numbers are here. This number's a little bit different, but it's close enough. So we showed 38 cases sold last month. That is an average of 10 per week. And then last week we physically sold 9. In addition, we show the days that we sold those cases. So this number actually should say 10. If you add these up, it's 1 plus 4 plus 6. So on Monday we sold 1, Tuesday none, Wednesday 4, and Thursday 6. So today being Thursday, we could, if we wanted to keep a close inventory, we could just order a few cases and that'll get us through until the end of the week. But a vendor like this that we don't order very often from, we just want to get plenty in for this order. So this 19 is what the computer suggested, which is, I'll go back to here, and JBS. What it does is it takes the weeks to carry, so we want to keep 2 weeks on hand, and it puts 0.2 weeks lead time, which is basically a 1 day lead time. It adds these two numbers up, which makes it 2.2, and it multiplies this usage by 2.2 and then subtracts it from the quantity on hand and comes up with a suggested order. So it's about, this is what the computer came up with. And what would you put in here, a little bit more, a little less?
I run it up, so maybe
25?
maybe 15, maybe a little less.
Oh, 15, okay. And this one here, so we got 9 and 3, so we just sold 2 million of that, yes. So what happens here, we get a warning, you're ordering more than the usage. So it just gives you a warning that you're ordering maybe a little bit more. And what it is we sold 9 a month on an average, but last week we only sold 3, so for whatever reason the flour went down, so we bring our suggested order down a little bit. So now the PO, we have 8 on hand here plus 5 equals 13. It's still strong, but we brought it down. So this is going to be the PO that we're going to send. Now if we want to see all items, you can see all items. I'll describe this screen real quick here. We have our item number, our brand, our description, our pack, the vendor item number, and our cost, our landed cost to our dock on this one. At this point, we can also add to the order. There's an add order button. So if we wanted to get from this vendor an item that they don't have, but they might sell, but we could buy as a backup from them, for instance. We would hit this button and say they have this item and we need to buy some from them. I could add to this order, and you'll see the sugar portions added to the order. Now, if they have a different vendor number, I would type that number in here, and then you could also put a cost in if you wanted to, and then you could order, and that will add to the order, and that's how we do our backup buying from other vendors that might have the same item. I am not going to order anything from this customer, so for this item, so I'll leave this quantity 0, and it doesn't do anything. So we still have an order for 15 and 5. There's a couple other features. If we want to see the quantity sold last month, who we sold it to, we simply double click this box here, and it shows all of our customer. It's hard to read this, but it says Marin Coffee Roasters and the last order date they bought from us. So you'll see on 9/1 they bought, It shows their year to date, and then I show every year what their usage is, so you can see trending, how long they've been buying the product. It also shows the last order date from, they placed an order from Palo Alto Foods. So this customer down here, last time this customer bought, this bakery bought from us was back on 8/18, and you can see we're September 7th, so it was a couple weeks ago. And the last time they bought this item from us was back on 8/18 as well. So it's been a while for that. If we want, we can email a rep as well on this screen. So you'll see that this turns into an email, and we could, if something stops, it makes this auto email and sends it to the reps automatically. And in here we could type additional information, and or take stuff off if we want, and then we just simply send this email to the reps for follow-up or any kind of notification. I'm going to take no, and it'll probably give me a debug. Yeah, that's okay. So so that's the email. So we have a bunch of these in the system where we're able to email products. You can also see on this button here who ordered this as a JIT. These are regular stock, so you won't see any special order or JIT on this one. You'll also see here the exact customers that ordered from us last week. So this is a list of customers that ordered, and you can see this one got shorted. Bittersweet Cafe got shorted this item, but the other ones were fulfilled, and it shows the delivery date. So that's all here. Close out. Let's go ahead and place the order. This gives you a little notification that we have. Now we have a calendar function that pops up, and since it had 0.2 for the lead time, the computer automatically figures out that's 1 day, and today's date is the 1st, so it makes it tomorrow, which is the 2nd. You make it for tomorrow. Right? So now we're going to go ahead and place the order, and the system now will place the order for pickup, please. The correct delivery instructions. Yes, that is correct. We can also change it here, but we rarely do. And if you want to add a note, it could add a note here. And then the system asks if you want to make a pickup slip. And what this does is, if it's a pickup slip on our truck, we actually enter the pickup location, our distributor that we're buying from, or a vendor, in our customer master file, and we make a sales order for this distributor that we later cancel out, and it's a $0 sales order. And all it does is it makes it so we can route a pickup slip for this distributor in the routing screen and the warehouse, so that the driver knows that he has to go and pick this order up from JBS. So we're going to take a yes here, and then at this point, it just added a sales order to our system for JBS Bake Serve, and it'll be pickup for tomorrow. So now the warehouse has a notification that the driver needs to pick up an order tomorrow. At this point, we have the an email pops up, and this is set for Outlook only. So there's code that I'll have to show you to process this for Outlook, and it's pretty straightforward code, but it puts the email that's in the vendor sales order the vendor master that I showed you earlier for the PO email. It puts that in there, and then it puts a CC to the purchasing person, and then it puts this subject line, which is the same, and then it actually will put the PO, and we generate a PO number at this point. And you'll see that this PO is just a fax version of a PDF of our PO, and it has the 2 items on it. It has a total, has a dollar amount, and all the other information. I'll let you take a look at this for 1 second. The PO number is here as well. So this is the paper document. We actually store this in a file on our server here locally, and so we could always go back and pull up any PO that we need to. I'm going to close out. And now I'm going to simply send this PO, and do a little spell check, and that's it. So this order has now been placed. Now if we look here on this button, update due dates, you will see the PO in this update due dates. The form is called due dates. and if you type in JBS here, you'll see the PO is here, shows the delivery date, shows the PO number, and if you double click it, you can actually see what's on the PO. And at this point here, if you change quantities, you can actually, if they say they only have 10 on hand, we could change the quantity to 10 on hand and it'll recalculate the PO. You could actually add to the PO here if you want. So if you click this, it'll do an add feature so that you can add items to the PO. So if you place a PO and you wanted to add one item onto it, it'll give you the same screen which will add items to the PO. So I'd click the button and then it'll add to the PO. Here we don't need to do that, so I'm going to close out. If you want, you could also search the PO. This is the filter sync that I have on all my other forms, 279867. You don't need to search a 2-item PO, but if you have say a UNFI PO, which is our big vendor, sometimes you need to search it and use a search screen to find the 1 item. So we put the search screen on here. I'm going to do right mouse click and remove filter sort to show the items again. And that's it. So that's the PO and that's how it's placed. That'll be the end of this video.